everyone, it's Jill, founder of Kids Baking Club, coming to you today on our Today's Creative Food channel. So happy you are with me. We are going to make something so easy, so delicious. Whenever I go to a restaurant that has biscuits at the table, sometimes I eat too many biscuits and I don't actually eat the food. Biscuits are I love them. Do you? Do you just love, especially if they're right warm out of the oven? They are the best. And I'm going to show you a super easy recipe. Now, if we've got kids watching, I do want to let you know that this is one of the easiest recipes that you can make for your family, and your family is just going to love it. So let me show you the recipe. You can also link down below, or I'll have the ingredients, but I'll also have this printable recipe on our kidsbakingclub.com. Just go click to the blog and you will find this recipe under quick breads. Okay, you guys ready to get started? This is so good. Right, these are called drop biscuits. Now, drop biscuits are a little different than a traditional biscuit. A traditional biscuit has a little thicker dough, and you usually use a circle cookie cutter. And that's how they did it back in the olden days. These are drop biscuits where you just plop them on the pan and you bake them for 10 minutes, and they are good and delicious every time. I made some this morning to show you how good they are. They're crusty on the outside, but when you open them, they're soft and moist. And if they've come right out of the oven, they're just steaming hot. I'm going to show you a little trick that makes it really perfect for when you actually are ready to slop on some butter. We're going to do honey butter. Let's start with 2 cups of all-purpose flour. And you definitely need the all-purpose flour for this recipe. We're going to put in 2 teaspoons of sugar. Go ahead and sprinkle that on. If you're doing more of a savory biscuit, maybe only do 1 teaspoon. Then we're going to do 2 teaspoons of baking powder, because these are only in the oven for about 10 minutes, so they have to do a quick rise, right? And we want that, so we're going to put 2 teaspoons. That's our leavening agent. Remember, baking powder, the way that it rises is with liquid and heat, and we're going to be doing both of those. Now, I'm also going to use a ½ teaspoon of baking soda. Now, you might ask, why are you doing baking soda when you did baking powder? Well, when you want those little brown edges on the side of your biscuits, that's what the baking soda does. So we want to make sure that it makes the nice crusty look on the outside and nice and moist in the middle. And then I'm going to add just a ½ teaspoon of salt. If you're using unsalted butter, you might want to add a little bit more salt, maybe another ½ teaspoon. Okay, I'm going to set this aside. I'm going to show you this little trick. Now, most often, well, actually the way that I was taught how to do drop biscuits was you take cold butter, 1 stick of cold butter, and you cut it in little pieces, and you dump it in here and you massage it, or use a pastry blender to make small little bits of butter, and then you add in the milk or the cream. But I found a different way, was that I take my 1 cup of buttermilk. Now, if you don't have buttermilk, I hope you guys know this trick. Just take 1 cup of milk, vitamin D is the best, and add 1 tablespoon of white vinegar or 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. And what that does is it actually makes the milk that acidic taste, which is what buttermilk is. Buttermilk is actually when the farmers make butter, when there's some leftover liquid after the butter has been shaken and made into butter. That milk is called buttermilk. It's the milk that's left over, and it's kind of acidic. So now I melted that stick of butter. See how I melted it? And I'm going to add that in to my milk. And what it does is it starts to clump up. If you get a little close-up right here, you can see my milk is clumping up. Now, you don't want to let this sit too long. You want to make sure you get this into your dough, and you want to make sure your oven is turned on to 410 degrees right now, because you want to pop these into the oven as quick as possible. So I'm going to bring my flour back and make a little well in the middle, right here. I'm going to dump this in. Yum, yum, yum. Okay, and then we're just gonna stir it, but the way we're gonna stir it's a little bit different. It's not a beating, like where you beat it so it's nice and smooth. You actually want it a little bit clumpy. So we're just gonna stir, but make it so that it's still a little bit clumpy. Just make sure all of the moisture, all the wetness, the milk, the butter is mixed through. Now this is the time that you want to do add-ins. So if you've ever had those cheddar biscuits, then go ahead and put 8 ounces, it's usually 1 block of cheese grated in here right now. This would be a good time to do that. One of my favorite things to do, if I'm making an Italian dinner or like a Caesar salad, and I want just a little bit of bread on the side, I add in 8 ounces of Parmesan grated cheese. Delicious. Or if you just want a little savory, just add maybe a teaspoon of garlic salt, and that gives it some nice and flavor. But we're doing honey butter today, so we don't want it savory, right? We want it nice and sweet. All right, I'm gonna take a pan. Now my pan is just a regular baking sheet, but I added my parchment paper. So if you don't have parchment paper, just oil your pan just a little bit. And this is the fun part. The kids are gonna love this. They just get to drop these biscuits onto the parchment paper. Now you can make big biscuits, small biscuits, however you want. I'll tell you, if you just bring these to the table in a basket right before dinner, they'll all be gone. I can guarantee you, especially when they first come out of the oven, they're just absolutely delicious. These are gonna go into the oven for 10 minutes, and you'll start to see like a golden brown, and then take them out, and then just cool for just a little bit, but you definitely wanna serve them warm. So this would be like the last thing that you wanted to cook before you actually serve a meal. These are great for breakfast. You can add in little bacon bits to this. There's so many things that you can do. They don't rise a whole lot or spread out, but you definitely want to put them a little bit for like an inch apart. Okay, I'm going to set these to the side because now we're going to make the honey butter. So I have 1 stick of butter that's nice and soft, and you can see it's nice and soft. I'm going to add that in here. A little tip Tuesday, if you forget to soften your butter, you can actually take it out of the refrigerator and grate it with a grater, and it will soften right away. That's a little tip. Then you're going to take a 1/2 cup of your favorite honey. I like to buy my honey locally, so it's all the local bees. I usually get it at the farmer's market. And then you want to stir that really well. It's going to start to make it now. But what makes it that nice, smooth that you get at the restaurants is they add a 1/2 cup of powdered sugar. This is optional. You don't have to do this. But if you want that creamy honey butter that you get at the restaurants, this is where you get it. While I'm stirring, I do want to tell you, if you're not part of Kids Baking Club yet, go ahead and join. We have our pool party kit right now. It's been so fun. We've been getting all these photos of kids that are making some great recipes, and I just would love for you guys to join Kids Baking Club. But hey, if you can't, you just come and join us here every Tuesday and Thursday, because I'm going to be teaching baking classes all year long, because I want to make sure that kids are learning these beautiful life skills of baking and cooking and just having fun. And it's just like an added little thing to do with your curriculum while you're at home. So doesn't that look amazing? So what I usually do is I take a little crock right here, I pour it in, and then I actually refrigerate this before I serve it onto the table, because then it makes it like butter. Okay, right now it's liquidy, but you're gonna put this in the refrigerator and then bring it to the table, and it'll be nice and spreadable. Hey, thanks for joining me today. I can't wait to show you another video. Make sure you subscribe and make sure you press that bell of notification, so every time I do a video, I make sure that you're here with me. All right, we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.